I think perhaps I am live. I think we're all good to go. Welcome everyone. Just going to make sure we're all set and ready. This is my first time ever streaming onto YouTube. So I'm going to see how it goes, and if everything's running okay, it'd be quite ideal. I think we're all good to go. So I'm just going to let everyone know that I'm streaming via YouTube. Okay. And of course, what we'll do is we will go from there. You just have to bear with me for a moment so I can do that. Just to make sure everything is working fine. Let's have a little look here. Let's share. And let's see where we get. And I think we're all okay. What it seems like. Let's just let everyone know what's going on. If there's any problems, I believe there's a chat. You can put them in. Let me know if there's an issue. If anyone's got any problems technically, just let me know. If you've got any questions, of course, any chart you want to look at, I'm going to do a quick market rundown just so we're all ready to go. So let's do it, guys. YouTube is a first for me. Normally I'm on TradingView. Lots of you will know me from TradingView. I'm top streamer on there. I do basically every stream on TradingView, so I thought perhaps what I'll do instead is just try it on YouTube for this time. So I'm going to do that now. If you keep seeing my head look to the left, I'm only doing it for a minute longer. It's just because I've got various screens up now. Okay, so let's do it. Just gonna let everyone know we're starting. Okay. Okay, appreciate your patience, guys. Thank you. As I said, this is my first time doing this on YouTube. I've not done it before. It's just to mix things up a bit. I've streamed on TradingView for such a long time, I just thought perhaps we'll try this out. Okay, so I think we're ready to go now. As I said, any charts you want to look at, guys, let me know. Just pop it in the chat box. There is one in there. And I'm going to start running down all markets right now. So what have we had? Well, I actually did a private video on this as well, but you will know if you followed me, I called the pound New Zealand short. Okay, you can see what's happened with it. If you start on your 4 hour, this caused a fall. Okay, you pulled up again, you could have re-shorted, it would have been fine. And then you had this bounce. I killed off my short entries at this point. Okay, and I did it in line with this level of price action. Okay, I saw the jittering, saw perhaps you get price rejection at that point, and I said, okay, well, if people are likely to start buying, I should probably exit. So I killed off my shorts for gains off the top. I had various short entries across various broker accounts and a flip long. Okay, I'm out of my longs. I basically hedged the market, okay, because I wanted to for extra gains. Remember, you don't have to trade one way all the time. Those hedge gains I've taken, okay, I'm out for profit. And what I'm looking for new shorts really comes along with your higher time frames. I would expect you would need to get somewhere, and I have called this as well on my TradingView Pound New Zealand post, which I've done many of. I think you'll need to get nearer 2138, 213750. I've got short orders here And what I'm really looking to do is just coincide with these key moving averages. So these moving averages, which I've just labelled, are going to give us the overall more, not exactly a confirmation, but they're going to help guide us through the new natural market downtrend. So what I mean by that is, if you do see a sustained move to the downside, it's likely that you're going to get it because what is forming effectively is a downtrend. Okay, so when you go up for a significant period of time, obviously you get an uptrend. You can see that visibly on higher time frames. Right, if you go all the way up to your weekly, for example, you've got this. It's a very tight uptrend because you don't have many pullbacks. But you can see visibly what it is. You can see that's an uptrend. So eventually it swaps, and when it does, the market tends to come under your MAs and then push back up to your MAs. And that is how you get a new forming downtrend. All right, and those moving averages act as a guidance for that trend. So you're looking for a move up on your lower time frames back to those key moving averages, so you can ride the wave. Okay, so you can let things ride as the market pushes down. So I'm out of my hedge longs. Okay, you're coming near to early resistance, so I'm out. I killed it at about here. So I've had short gains, I've had long side gains, and I really want a slightly more vicious pull to the upside before I start to re-engage short. Okay, so if that comes today, I'll get short. We do have the Jackson Hole Symposium news. It's coming. Could be very prolific for markets. Loads of people are watching it. I will be myself, as will many of my members. Just put out a discount for my academy, by the way. If you are if you're looking to get on board with myself and you've watched me for a long time, I mean, I sort of get about 100,000 views a month on TradingView. Loads of guys follow me, and I have lots of academy members. I day trade myself. So if you're someone who wants to get things right, you need rules like this. You need to know when trend is going to swap, how to ride that trend down, because inherently riding a trend with split entries somewhat reduces your risk over time. Ronald, I'm watching. Thank you. Appreciate that. First time watching, great analysis, dude. Thank you. It's my first stream. I appreciate that. Maybe you haven't seen me on TradingView. But great to see you, and thanks for the comment. I appreciate that a lot. I'm glad there's no technical issues at this point, and that's really handy. My main focus, as I said, was on these pound pairs, pound New Zealand, etc. Like I said, I called it short up here, I called it short up there. I did various videos and streams on this. And again, the reason why you kill off those shorts is because you have to look at what you're falling to. When you see the bounce that we've just seen, okay, that's no coincidence. It doesn't happen by accident. The fact is you're hitting onto price action levels. So you need to use your eyes and say, okay, well, if this is a price action level and you've seen rejection there before, is there a chance perhaps that you might see it again? That's exactly what's happened. It's minor at the moment, okay, but I would probably like to get slightly higher again so that I can reshort. Okay, so you can see again what's happening is on your lower time frames, or even indeed your 4-hour, you've dipped under those 20 and 40 MAs that cause a guidance for price in a newfound trend. Okay, you've dipped under them, and really our goal then is to move back to them, because if you're moving back to those MAs, you're naturally going to have a better price to short from. If you're shorting now, you know, you haven't really had the bounce up to get you any value, right? So it's like if you came out of the markets tomorrow and something you had bought, say a car, had already dropped in value, and then you sold it. Okay, you would want the car to come up in value before you sold it because you'll get a better price for it, right? And that's how a natural market forms. It's people making deals, buying and selling between each other. Okay, and the more people are willing to pay, the higher the price goes. And that is what happens when you get a rebound and a bounce. But that only goes so far. That can only exist to a certain point where people stop being willing to pay that much, and they flip their bias and they're willing to sell that much. And of course, that price becomes more preferable for exits from the long side and new entries from the short side. And that forms the fundamental basis for a profitable trader over time. It's getting a deal when the time is right. Okay, so I would like it short higher up, but you have to have that push. Okay, you have to come up so that you can do that. I'm just going to edit the stream title so everyone's true, everyone can understand. That is where I have limits at the moment. That OB lot along with the MA Confluence looks like it would be a great trade. Yep, you would just need a pullback, but absolutely I'm also short at that point. So I'm out on this enormous fall. I called it many times. We did that in line with our weekly and monthly timeframes. You don't have to be a genius to understand this. Look how high you have come up. The bounces back have been negligible, more or less, at least since February. This one reasonable, but since Feb, you've not had a lot. And it can only go on so long. So your pound or your pound New Zealand I've covered. I did a video on the pound yen as well. I said about it being short. Okay. It had been very vicious, the pound yen, for a considerable amount of time. And what you found is you've only fallen so far. Again, it's no coincidence. You've got the early support. Okay. You're right on your MAs. So there's a little bit of inherent risk with the pound yen. Nonetheless, it is still a short at these highs. You could likely short. If it goes even higher, I wouldn't be incredibly shocked. I think you have far better price action levels around here. You can see that the market rallied practically from where you are now and slightly higher before. So I'd have a little bit of caution with the pound yen, but nonetheless, like your pound or like your pound New Zealand, they are shorts higher up because you're only going to push into a higher price where it's far more preferable to short the market down. So also think what's really important too, you've had so much chatter, and I like this a lot. Again, you're pulling back your moving averages, but you've had so much chatter about this long-term S&P crash. Okay, loads of people have gone over this. Again, I did a big video on it on TradingView. But I like it short at this point. Again, you're pushing up to those key MAs. You're looking for that newfound trajectory. If the market is going to turn and slide, it's going to have pullbacks to do so, as you have every single time over here. The market has to pull back for you to get a valid short. So you never really want to be shorting after the fall. It just does not make sense. The price has fallen. You are too late. Okay, so you have to be careful of that. Okay, so it's short in line with your S&P. That's where I like it now. I like it short. You've gapped up slightly. You can see that. Okay, where the open is. You're not getting that upside push. You may find with the Jackson Hole news, if there's some terrible thing gets said by the Fed Chair Powell, you might see that you come down more sooner. But we're not interested in guessing what is going to happen at that news event. I don't know, you don't know, no one knows. All we can do is trade the reaction, or indeed, as one of my members in my academy asked me, he said, okay, well, we know the news is coming, but I'm worried about entering in case it does something that isn't preferable to me. And I said, well, look, if you're shorting this S&P, for example, you've already got a good technical price. Technically, you are riding the downtrend. So you don't have to think about what the news is going to do. You can take the entry, but if you're slightly worried about the news, your size is probably too high. So it might be wise to just drop that size slightly so you're not having that problem. You're not having that issue. Normally, people get worried about their trading when they're just trading too large. Otherwise, you wouldn't really be worried about it, would you? You know, because the risk wouldn't be sufficient enough to trigger worry in your brain. So I like it short, the S&P. The FTSE as well, I'm still holding longs. Okay, I'm going to do a further video on this, but I'm going to look for exits here. And I'm going to have new light entries. You almost got there this morning, okay, but I think you'll probably beat this high slightly. We're not at target yet. I am well in gains. on my FTSE longs because I took them all around here. Some of them I'm out, some of them I'm still in to alleviate a bit of risk. Your DAX, I know lots of guys like to ask about the DAX. I think you'll get short if you get higher up. Don't think it's a good time to short right now because you've already fallen on the day. Anything higher, I'd probably go on your weekly. But I like the bottom of this side. This is ideal for me if you can push up. The DAX, I would re-short. You've got market value at those previous highs. You have to look how high you've come and what you've seen before. Anything into these previous highs, I like shorting the DAX. You could re-add higher. Okay, you can have a light entry and re-add. So it's just to cover futures and index markets. That's why I've gone over the DAX and the futures market, the S&P and the UK index as a normal CFD market, or however you're trading it. It's more or less based on the same thing regardless. So oil is a really important one for me as well. I just wanted to talk about briefly. I had it long. Okay, I'm out of those longs, and I'm doing that because you've got very early resistance here, and the price action within this daily candle is poor. You can see that you're not really getting anything there. You have had a large green candle as of late, but I was already out at that point for gains. So I did make profit on it. However, I much prefer slightly lower. Okay, if you can come well within these key MAs here and onto previous PA levels, you can see prices come down in various areas before, mostly here. So I'd scale in lightly long. I'm not entirely keen with it, just on how it lurks. But you have had a sustained up move. And there is fair market sentiment there to the long side. So any fall, you could even consider entering first here. Wouldn't be a completely bad idea. So I'll set orders around 77. Is there any charts anyone wants to look at? Don't forget, there's tons of people in my Discord. If you want to join the Discord, I'll put a link to it. You can also ask me a question in there if you want. I'll just open up that just for now because I've got a section for it. So if you want to ask questions, do let me know. In there, you can just type them. So I've done the pound pairs. Actually, I haven't done the pound CAD. Pound CAD, I was short this morning. I'm out of it now. It doesn't look overall too pretty. I think you'll come lower than this low. I think you'll re-push down. It happens a lot. And I think you'll come nearer these higher MAs. At that point, you might consider getting long. Okay, that's your pound CAD. So I think you might drip down. Wouldn't bother shorting, just hold off. Many of you know I really like the pound dollar long if you can come in line with this previous support within your overall uptrend, coincide with relatively low MAs on your weekly, and if you swap your daily, it's going to coincide with your higher 200 MA. So a really reasonable price there to the long side, especially given you've got this new formed uptrend. Relatively flat since the start. Okay, you had your push up here, but then slowly dawdling along. I think you'll get a similar movement over time, and I wouldn't be shocked, like I said, if you do drip down. Again, I don't think you should really be shorting it. I think it will come down, but you're just too late, is my point. You might get a chance if you push up, as mentioned before. But overall, I would expect pound pairs to drip, just given your higher time frame movement. You can see on various higher time frames, you've come up so far and you've got reasonable space, profit margin to get there. So your goal really at this point is to wait, get a push, and then of course you can continue the market down. As for S&P futures, UK index markets, whatever it is you're trading, I think you've got slight room there. Overall, I would say the trade of the week is going to be on the S&P, especially given the Jackson Hole Summit. You'll have to see more or less how that goes. So this is my first stream on YouTube, just a quick one there. I've done tons of them before, as many of you know who are here. If you're serious about trading, you want to get on board, I've got a $200 discount for today only. That will end. Some guys are taking it now. Just before I did this stream, some new guys came in, which is fantastic. If you are one of those guys, please do reply to my email I send you when you come in. Get me on Discord so I can get you up and running and we can talk straight away, and you can go through my videos, ask me anything, anytime, and I can get you progressing as you go through. If you don't know me, I'm Will Sebastian. I'm the founder of Be Profitable Academy if you're just coming in. If you do know me, of course, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been fantastic. Trade small, trade safe. I'll see you soon.